guest today is Terry Roach. In November of 2020, he was here in this field in Benbrook picking up trash, and he was detained by Benbrook PD for more than 20 minutes. They never told him why he was detained, and he spent the last 2 years trying to get basic answers to his unlawful detainment. So go ahead and tell us what was happening in November 2020.
This was one of the gems of Benbrook. It was a beautiful area with white hills that led down to a creek. And sure, it had its trash dumps and homeless people called it home, but it also had some great trails. It was a natural area where you'd find bobcat, deer. So I always kept care of it. I maintained the trails, and I picked up trash where I could. And you can see now an apartment complex is moved in. They started about early 2018 and finished about mid-2020. So I've been seen here literally 1,000 times on this area. I know it like the back of my hand.
They know who you are, but then one day they came and they detained you.
One day I had a person call, and Karen, who said, suspicious guy picking up trash. And I'm pro law enforcement. I think they do a great job, first responders, but we had two that aren't the rogue officers who took advantage of that call. The first approach was, show us your hands.
Okay.
And my story, which is the truth, wasn't listened to, wasn't investigated. So I'm basically just sitting on the ground here for most of the time. And it's not really what happened during that detainment that is the real crux of the issue.
Sure.
It's what's happened afterward. In the FOIA request, I found that the officers fabricated a construction site. And obviously there was one here at one time. Apartments just don't spring out of nowhere. But there wasn't one here on that date, and that construction had wrapped up months before, and so they used that in the body camera video, which I can't get. You're never going to hear, talk about a construction site. You actually will, but it's in the past tense.
Sure, it's a pretense. They found out afterwards.
Right, and afterwards they're saying, well, we suspected him of stealing from an apartment complex, from the construction site. We were trying to look for somebody responsible on the construction site to speak with, so they fabricated a construction site and workers, and they mentioned it, the two officers together, 12 times in the paperwork that I have here.
How much money has the city of Benbrook spent fighting your open records request?
A couple months ago, they were up to right around just $15,900 something dollars, so right around $16,000 for an attorney. And there's been several appeals to the Attorney General office with my continued attempts to get the body camera video.
Okay.
So we're probably up to about $20,000
for a very small town. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Sure.
Yeah. I have photographs, Google Earth. I have witnesses, people I've brought out here. Any of these apartment residents can tell you there was no construction site here on the day I was detained. And that is a ludicrous claim. And that is the claim on which they're justifying the detainment.
Okay, so they're doubling down on this this false narrative. You've spoken at the Commissioner's Court recently. What are the next steps? You're still fighting these open records requests. What's in the future?
My wife said you need to maintain your sanity, right? So a good hike is in the future.
Sure.
But
some stress relief.
I see my case, and it's minimal as far as the violations during the detainment, right? But really, my motive has been to do what I can, and I've really learned that there's not many remedies unless you're beaten, maced, or tased. There's no agency you can turn to for relief, and I wanted people to know that. I want people to be aware that like I said, I'd been with my wife. We talked about this with the police, and yet it still happened to me. So just an activist to promote the awareness that citizens' rights are being trampled by police who take advantage of the pretext of a call. Just the blatant, it's, I could say, false statement. That's kind of couching it. They're lying. They're lying about a construction site. They're lying. In the FOIA request, they sent me a picture of an officer's crotch. And we, the citizens, deserve a lot better than that. And I'm all for transparency and accountability. And those body cameras. Everybody should be able to get a body camera from public place, interaction with public officials, right here.
Okay, well, Terry, we're grateful for civic-minded folks like you, and good luck with this battle, and for sharing your story, because you're not the only person who's experienced this. I can tell you that.
Yeah, not by any means, and that's why I just want to give voice to say another person, who's to stand up for what we deserve as citizens.
Okay, thank you, Terry.
Yeah.